Welcome to February 2015's Coffee with Manitou. Coffee with Manitou is a 1-hour monthly webinar session, bringing Bold users together for training and to share valuable information. For this Coffee with Manitou session, we shared tips and tricks for upgrading your Manitou system. We condensed the Coffee with Manitou session down into 5 smaller videos. This video is part 1. Brian Hardy starts this video off highlighting the session's objectives and ends sharing a few things to consider before upgrading your system.
Good morning and good afternoon to everyone, just depending on where you are in the world at this time. Hopefully you can see my screen. It should say objectives of what we plan to discuss today here for you on this Coffee with Manitou session. We will be discussing where to find the Windows end-of-life information, as well as discussing when it's best to update your hardware, your servers, your workstations, things like that, as well as backup maintenance by discussing some different methods. Just going to introduce you to those methods. We won't exhaust those methods by no means. Also going to discuss some hardware and software requirements for Manitou Neo, as well as some benefits of utilizing WAN and LAN environments, network environments, and also much, much more that we're going to discuss today as well. So let's get started. Very first thing here that we want to talk about is the software end of life, and it is inevitable. So here's a heads up on the next end of life product, which is the Microsoft Windows Server 2003. The end of life for that actually is July 14th of 2015, so it's fastly approaching here. If you were to visit the Microsoft.com website, there is actually a timer countdown right now of that inevitable day, and right now it would show something similar to 146 days, 13 hours, 2 minutes, and 45 seconds is about what it shows right now. So be prepared and start planning ahead now as it relates to the Windows Server. End of life, of course, means no security updates, and also in most cases our development team cannot go back and fix issues for older Windows Server versions. So keep that in mind. Oftentimes the .NET or the C++ redistributables are not always backwards compatible. So as we see here, rest in peace to our beloved software, Windows Server 2003. So that leads us to the next question. When thinking of upgrading, we must consider, when should I upgrade my hardware? As we all know, new software doesn't always run well on older hardware. So in those cases, we must begin to budget, plan, and prepare for replacing the hardware to optimize performance and take full advantage of the new software capabilities. Because Bold Technologies is always, we're doing our best to make sure that we're providing you the best software on the planet. Some things to consider before you upgrade. Our support department has given us a list of several things to consider prior to upgrading to the latest and greatest Manitou version. Our current version right now is Manitou 1.62. First of all, you want to make sure before you upgrade to apply all the Microsoft updates. Also, watch the Microsoft Tech Bulletins. These are actually published on their website every second Tuesday of every single month. It's going to have some updates as it relates to their tech bulletins and their security updates and their patches, things that are going to affect you and I. Also, watch Bold Talk. As Julie mentioned earlier, if you're not already signed up for Bold Talk, sign up on Bold Talk at boldgroup.com, because we're going to send important updates through our Bold Talk portal as well. In addition to Bold Talk, make sure that you're watching your MyBold for updates as well concerning new releases and updates. You can find that at support.boldgroup.com. Most of you are already registered with that and already are familiar with our ticketing system. It's that same system. There is a section there that's called MyBold, where you can also see very current and past updates as well. Another thing you want to consider before you upgrade here is consider the machine age, the hardware age that you have, and if it's time to replace the hardware or not. Typically, from our support department, they are informing us that when you get to about 5 to 8 years, about time to consider in replacing those machines. So you want to also, in addition to that, review the hardware warranties, which are usually 5 years unless you have something different. And that is a good time to budget and to replace those machines. You want to replace them right around the time that the warranty is running out, of course. And especially the UL sites, 5 years really should be a target date to begin replacing hardware for those sites that are UL or ULC certified as well.
Right, I'm going to jump in here with the very first poll question for the group today here. So I'm going to go ahead and launch the poll question and give you guys an opportunity to take a look at or answer that question here to see if you know how old are the servers in your organization. Now, I didn't pull any Jeopardy music here to play in the background while people are going through and answering that here, but we'll all give you, again, just a few more seconds here to go through and answer that question, and then we'll go ahead and share those results to everybody here. Looks like we're still getting a couple of responses in. All right, looks like they've slowed down here, so I'm going to go ahead and close out the poll, and we'll reveal those responses to you here. So that's what we have back here. The majority of you, 42%, have servers that are anywhere between 1 to 3 years old within your organization. And then still the next category there, 30% between the 3 and 5 years. So it looks like a lot of the organizations are running well within those guidelines. All right, Brian, we'll hand it back to you.
All right, that is awesome news. Awesome poll there. All right, so those are some things to consider before you upgrade, and it looks like you guys are already doing that. So that's awesome. Continue to keep doing the great work that you're doing.
This concludes part 1 of the Coffee with Manitou session from February 18, 2015. Register for next month's Coffee with Manitou session at boldgroup.com and check out any upcoming videos on our YouTube page. For more information, contact your account manager today at sales@boldgroup.com.